How do the top 1% stay in the top 1%? The truth is, they are diligent about their habits. Now, don't get me wrong, there are a lot in the top 1% who are just there because they're heirs or they have fortunes handed to them. But the ones I'm talking about are the ones who worked hard to get to the top 1%. The successful top 1% have certain habits that set them apart. In this video, I'll highlight 7 habits of these uber successful people. These are people who worked hard to get to where they are, so by following their habits, we too can be successful. Remember, the tiny things you do throughout the day influence the kind of life you live. Let's start with the most obvious, but at the same time most important habit, and that is to sleep for at least 8 hours. Yeah, I know.
Rich people don't sleep 8 hours a day.
What? But let's be honest here. How many of you sleep for only 2 to 4 hours, but still perform optimally during the day without feeling horrible? No one, right? Now, what do you think happens when you don't get enough sleep? Let's look at the facts. Your immune system will become weaker, resulting in you getting sick more often. Brain functions, including memory, decision-making, reasoning, and problem-solving skills just take a dive. Your control over your own body decreases, and your chances of having diabetes, heart disease, and high blood pressure increase dramatically. So by skimping on sleep, maybe you can gain a couple of hours here and there, but you sure as hell lose a lot more than you gain. No matter how big of a hustler you are, if you don't get proper sleep, you won't be able to hustle for that long. But on the flip side, people who get proper sleep consistently usually have a lot more energy and a higher chance of making better decisions consistently throughout the day. Habit number 2, get interested in reality. 2.5 hours. That's right. The average person spends 2.5 hours daily on social media sites and apps. Now think about that for a second. 2.5 hours every single day essentially wasted. Social media can be nice to connect with people, sure, but oftentimes the flip side is that spending too much time on it can cause you to unfairly compare yourselves to others, and it can quickly become a very toxic place. My recommendation? Uninstall all the social media apps on your phone. You can see that I'm not encouraging you to completely stop or delete your accounts. I am saying make it harder for you to access the apps. With this recommendation, what will happen is that every time you have the urge to go onto Instagram or Facebook, you'll see that you need to go to the App Store, download it, log in, and then only can you use it. The barrier to entry becomes significantly higher, and as a result, you end up spending less time on it. Instead, you'll spend more time outdoors with actual friends in person, and it'll be a much more fulfilling and rich experience. Habit number 3, respect time. Journal your daily activities for a week, and you'll just see how much of your time is wasted on useless and unproductive things. So try to eliminate all of those tasks and start planning your day. Remember, time is the only thing that cannot be reversed or controlled. It just keeps on moving and it doesn't wait for anybody. The top 1% makes the most of their time by planning their day. They write down what they're going to do on the next day and they do it, and they say no to everything else that comes their way. The top 1% say no more than they say yes because they respect their time and others' time. If you say no to something, you're not being rude. All you're saying is that it's not worth my time, so don't waste your time on me. By the way, are you enjoying this video? Why not subscribe if you are? It'll just mean the world to me. Alright, the next habit is to stop procrastinating. The biggest reason we procrastinate is not that we're lazy or we lack energy. Instead, it comes down to one word: fear. The reason we procrastinate is that we fear the task, and this could often be for a number of reasons. Either the task is too big, or it's too hard, or we don't understand how to do it. Now, the top 1%, they don't procrastinate. I've seen a number of interviews of successful entrepreneurs who say that they block out their mornings to tackle the most difficult tasks. That way, the tough part is done, and they can spend the rest of their day focusing on other projects. So try doing this for the next 30 days, and you'll notice a huge change in your life. I guarantee it. Habit number 5, understand the game. The best way to play and win in any game is to understand everything you can about it, like its rules, its functions, its cheat codes. The same applies to real life. You have to know everything you can about your industry or your field of work. Now, this is something the top 1% understands extremely well. Going back to the true entrepreneurs in the top 1%, you'll notice that they spend an overwhelming amount of time and money on learning. You can't overestimate the value of knowledge. If you have more knowledge than anyone else in the room, you will always have the upper hand. And this is something the top 1% knows to be true. Habit number 6, build connections. You are who you know. Now that's really true, especially in the world of the top 1%. The top 1%'s network, credibility, and connections are really what sets them apart. You'll notice from the video that I made last week about Nate O'Brien is that the connections and network you build ends up helping you immensely in becoming successful. So no matter where you are in your life right now, start building your network today. Habit number 7 is to detach yourself. Now, this is technically not a habit, but a mindset, but it's something that I think everyone should have if they want to become successful, and that is to remove any attachments. If you attach your success to the money in your bank, or the success of your business, or how many investments you have, or how many houses you have, then you'll never truly be free. And that is because your self-worth and your identity will be tied to those material possessions. And because of this, you'll always fear losing these possessions. The best way to be free is to detach yourself. Think about it. If you have nothing to lose, then you have nothing to fear. And if you have nothing to fear, then it enables you to create value and achieve things at a much higher level. So there you have it, 7 habits that set apart the top 1% from the rest of us. And the funny thing is, there is absolutely nothing stopping you from building these habits. Nothing at all. So why not start today? Build these habits and set yourself up for success today.